Hi. Um, so according to this month's Cosmo, which has Katy Perry on the cover, um, it says that one of the latest new trends apparently is dramatic readings from like your old diaries or whatever. Well, I happen to keep quite a few different journals. I have some from grade school, some from high school, and then some from my life on the internets. And I figured, enough time has passed that I could probably put these up here without offending anyone. I think most of the time I gave everybody like code names in case like someone ever found my blogs or whatever. So, we're gonna start with a reading from my online life journal, which was like my first one, and apparently it's from Thursday, October 18th, 2007. So, I mean, it's kind of like, what, 3, 4 years ago? I can't do math, but alright. I titled it Episode 1 Once Upon a Time. And yeah, I used code names here, and um, I would be Rebel Chick in this. So, once upon a time, Rebel Chick stumbled across the world of MySpace RP. And just like Alice, she was sucked into this world where anything seemed possible. It wasn't long until the place had her in its grasp. It provided her with an escape from the outside world. She made many friends, but the first person she fell for was Elmo. Elmo was nice to her, and had a dark past which Rebel Chick helped him through. They had been friends for months before she had realized she liked him. To get his attention, she made a profile for him, but that didn't work either. It was there she met CK, Little One, and Emo Boy. CK took care of Rebel Chick, and they began to date before CK cheated on her with Big Baby. With Little One gone, Emo Boy took care of her, and she took care of him. Emo Boy grew closer and closer to Rebel Chick, and soon they began to have a secret relationship. Rebel Chick knew he was using her to fill the absence of Little One, but she liked feeling loved and valued, even if it was a lie. Soon after, Little One came back, and Emo Boy left to be with her again, even though they were constantly arguing over how he felt she loved CK. It was at this time that Elmo returned. One night, he confessed loving Rebel Chick the same way she loved him, but the next night, Elmo's friend told her that he had been in a car crash, and remembered things only up to the month of February. So he remembered her, just not being with her. Rebel Chick found herself crying herself to sleep often, as she remained by his side, helping him to remember, deciding to leave out their relationship since other girls were already telling him falsely that they were together, and Rebel Chick didn't want to confuse him or take advantage of him. She was so focused on him that she rushed through her final just so she could get back to helping him when he was breaking down. Finally, he said he remembered her, and the two began to date, and she was finally happy. That's where Skanky Ho came in. She tried everything to steal Elmo from Rebel Chick. Rebel Chick had heard of Skanky Ho from other girls. Little One had even told her how she had tried to steal Emo Boy from her, knowing that he was already taken. Thus began the war of insults, and CK took Skanky Ho's side, even though Rebel Chick had been there for him always. That hurt more than she admitted. After that, she learned that Elmo was not who he claimed to be. He was actually the 13-year-old neighbor that she had been talking to on the phone. Crushed and betrayed, she began to retreat back into herself. Somewhere during all of this, Rebel Chick had become friends with Broody and had in turn met Supergirl, who had a thing for Broody. Rebel Chick encouraged Supergirl to tell Broody how she felt because she was sure Broody felt the same way. It was then that the bullshitter entered her life. He picked up the pieces that Elmo had broken and made Rebel Chick feel whole again. He took care of her and made her happy. They even had their characters engaged to each other. Then he told her he had cheated and she felt horrible, but they decided to try and work things out. By now, her and Skanky Ho were starting to get along and became friends, even, but then she found out that Bullshitter and Skanky Ho were screwing each other behind her back, and she pushed them both out of her life. By now, her and Supergirl were talking more, and she had found out that she was finally dating Broody and was happy for her. But around Brody's birthday, he had broken up with Supergirl and gotten tipsy. He and Rubblechick had a talk in which Broody stated that he had always had a crush on Rubblechick and that it had grown over time. Being wiser this time around, Rubblechick told him to wait until he wasn't rebounding and see if he still thought that. Broody got offended that she thought he was using her as a rebound, and not wanting to make things worse, Rubblechick apologized. The two talked for another day, opening up, flirting, talking on the phone, but in no time he was back with Supergirl, and Rubblechick didn't feel so bad because this time she knew it was coming, and she was just happy that they were happy. Time went on, and Bullshitter came back into her life, convincing her that he had changed. But then Rubblechick found out that though he was making all these promises and excuses, he was already doing the same thing all over again with Skanky Ho. Rubblechick felt stupid and naive and once again closed the door on him, knowing she deserved better. Soon, Rubblechick met Lost Boy, and they joked around and got along well. Half the time, though, he would confuse her as to whether they were talking about themselves or in character. At the time, she was dating Bunny, the only person who had never hurt her. But Rubblechick knew she could not give Bunny everything she needed, so she broke up with her. But she never stopped loving Bunny. They were still very close and have each other's backs. And of course, more drama happened, and Stupid Girl and Stupid Mom attacked Rubblechick, and instead of CK standing up for her, who was supposed to be her bestie, it was Green Arrow who... What? Sorry. I don't even know what I type sometimes, who had only known her for 5 minutes and stood up for her. They started a friendship between the two, which soon began to lead to more, and at the same time she found out Lost Boy liked her as well. She was confused, and to add to it, Broody had been caught in his web of lies, and as much as she wanted to ignore it and remain friends with them, she knew she wanted the truth, so a series of events happened that brought her closer to Supergirl and farther from Broody, who kept betraying her. Rubblechick began to feel split in half, first between Supergirl and Broody, and then between Lost Boy and Green Arrow. She tried to remain neutral and avoid commitment, so that she would not hurt anyone. But the both of them kept pushing her for commitment, and she did not know how to choose when she loved them both. Then Rubblechick felt betrayed by both. With Lost Boy, it was when she read him playing with Supergirl, and even though it was her character, she felt betrayed because it had reminded her of everything else. And with Green Arrow, it had been because he had lied to her face about himself, which reminded her of Elmo. So for a while, she was on her own and liked it like that. She often confided in Broody, and then one day Broody admitted to her that he always felt like there was something going on between Supergirl and Lost Boy, and that the distance thing was too hard. It was him that brought up their past conversation of Rubblechick once having a crush on him, and began to convince her how they could make it work if she wanted to. Rubblechick was conflicted, because she was now friends with Supergirl, but she couldn't deny the idea of someone she could actually see or touch was amazing, so they began a secret relationship. Even though it was a secret from their friends, Rubblechick was happy and told her real friends about him and such. That soon proved to be a mistake. She felt him drifting away, and even though he promised all these things, he couldn't even give Rubblechick a simple phone call. She knew what it was, and told him that though she loved him, she could see that he had rushed into this too fast, even if he couldn't, and that he needed time to take care of things at home, and she would wait. And she waited, until she heard from Supergirl that he had told her how much he loved her, and she would always be his. Hurt, Rubblechick confronted him, and told him how he couldn't have them both, and that she was done. Feeling horrible about the entire thing, she had confessed to her other best friend, Shortcake, to Fresh Prince, and finally to Lost Boy, which had been the hardest of all. Fresh Prince told her not to say anything to Supergirl, but Rubblechick knew she had to. Lost Boy advised her to wait until she was ready, but before she was, Broody had told Supergirl, and had also told people that he had been testing her. The idea of being used again was too much, and having Supergirl disappointed in her hurt even more, and so for a while she left the MySpace RP world. To be continued.